AI agents are finally live on Make.com. They might be right now in the public beta, so if you don't have access to it, you can apply for it. And they might already be released, then just go ahead and play around with the new Make AI agents. I will give you a glance of what you can do with it, how you set it up, how you can implement it in your workflows, what it can do for you, and then also a little bit of critical review of, do you actually need an AI agent? I know it's a super trending topic right now, but in my opinion, oftentimes you don't need an AI agent. Yeah, I know it's everywhere, but you don't. Like if you have a very good AI workflow, it oftentimes performs better than the fuzziness of an AI agent. But let's dive into it. Hey, my name is Manuel Gig and I am the founder of Techflow.ai and we love automation. If you want to learn more about AI agents and automation in general, make sure to like this video and follow our channel, subscribe to our channel, and put any comments, any questions you have about this topic or automation in general with Make.com mainly. Put them in the comments below and I'd be happy to reply to all of them, as well as creating new videos based on your requests. All right, so here's a scenario as we're used to it, and here you can see the new AI agent module. And I'll just expand it just to show you how it looks like. We have the agent that we can select here at the top, because the agent is actually on a global level within your team where you can create the agents and then you can just like use them in any scenario that you like. And it has agent level tools like powerful sub-scenarios that you can give the agent access to and describe what it can do for the agent. So the agent can decide which tool to run. For example, I've set up one for running research, a sub-agent, then running a CRM management, running project management, or creating Google Drive docs or sheets. And then also with our knowledge base about Make.com. So I enhanced that so it can retrieve actual knowledge about it. Then I am using Slack for this demo. So in a Slack channel, I've created a Slack bot and then I'm watching for any message in there. So if ever I write to that Slack, in that Slack channel, it will land here and trigger this assistant or this agent, which will then decide, okay, what does Manuel actually want? So what should I do now? So you can always add new scenarios here, new tools by just clicking the add button. And then you will have an overview of all the scenarios within your organization, and you can search for the scenarios that have on demand or immediately as a trigger step, and you need scenario inputs to make it work properly. And then you can just search for, like, for example, run, and then here run project management agent. And here this does not have a description, so I can say runs every single or requests updates of current projects at Techflow.ai and can retrieve statuses, escalate, due dates, needs for escalation, project updates, and more. So you give the AI agent context around when to call this specific sub-agent in that case. And then I can enable it by clicking this button here. And when you press add, it's here. Now I added it 3 times. That's interesting. Let me just refresh. Okay, so now it's only one time here, and we have the project management agent. All right, then we have this giant agent description or system prompt, however you call it, and we gave it the role and the context, the objective, what it should do, some example tasks of what it can do, then tools like the sub agents it has access to, including our knowledge base, context manager, task analyzer, SOP, like what steps it should follow. And then we have some examples, like this is the type of blocks output, because we wanted to output it in Slack block format, so it actually has a nice format as output. And then one other example of how it should format it, and then also like some rules, notes. Hey, you should always follow this. We saw that there sometimes it doesn't work properly, so it does not output the Slack block format, or there's an error. But with these enhancements, it worked quite well. But we also have like a fallback method here in place, which I will show you in a second. All right, So that's how it works. And then the run project management, let me show you that one, for example. It's pretty simple. So it's a scenario that has inputs, scenario inputs. Over here, you can configure them. So we say, okay, we might want to get the thread ID. You can define the name, the description, and what type of file or what data type it is that will call. This tool will have to come up with that information. If it's not required, then not necessarily. Then the email is also optional, but then the actual request that needs to be required, because of course we need to tell this project management agent what should it actually do. And then we simply map the scenario inputs here like this: the email, the request, the thread ID. And the thread ID, I haven't used it in that case, but we could use it to give it also the context of the main conversation and have it also in here if necessary. All right, then it runs the agent, which also has tools available. So this one has access to CRM, search email, and clients, creates new client requests in our project management tool, search projects based on status. So these are the tools this one has access to as of now. And then we return output. So we simply return the response of this agent and hand it back to the main project manager agent. And you can also configure that in the scenario outputs now. So that's pretty new, that it can actually return output. And that's also when you call a sub scenario, you can let the parent scenario wait until the sub scenario is executed and then return output back. So it's like a webhook and webhook response, but now you have the call sub scenario and return output, and you can return it in very structured formats. So you have a lot of formats that you can return, like full JSON, select number, date, collection, array, and so on and so forth. Here we simply use text for the response, and then we send whatever was the response of this agent, we send it back to the parent agent to process further. And let's finally dive into an example. So this is our first scenario, personal assistant. And now if I am at Slack, in a Slack channel that this agent has access to, I just write, for example, what are the most common pain points that Make.com users have. So now it will trigger this one over here. So the webhook is coming in, then it's calling our assistant. And the reason why I did not wait in here for the response of the assistant and then send it back to Slack is because right now there's a 40-second timeout on this module, which will be increased in the future. So right now it's quite often it hit that limit because it was calling all these sub scenarios, sub agents, and the other tools, and then it took it a while, and that's why we split it up. And you have that setting in here at the very bottom of each agent. You can say continue scenario run while agent is working, and here I simply said yes, and then I can call a webhook and say, okay, whenever the agent is done with its processing, it will call this webhook. And I included a query parameter here, the event underscore timestamp, and then just mapped it from the original webhook so I can reply in a thread actually on the receiving end. So this is the receiving end. I'm simply getting the webhook with a final response. So here's the response of the agent in that format, and then it sends the message back to my Slack message, to my Slack channel, and it uses the event.js that I've forwarded via query parameters. All right, let's check the response. Over here we have it. So the common pain points for Make.com users is data loss, debugging challenges, complex error handling, and understanding data types. You might find yourself in one of these, and if you do, then join our free Make Simplified community. You will find the link in the description below. It's free for now. We might increase the price or add a pricing to it. Right now we are offering 100% off. Actually, it's $197 one-time price, but right now you can get it for 100% off for a limited time. So make sure to join. It's free and will teach you all the basics, and you also get a bunch of additional benefits there. All right, now let's ask a follow-up question for this to get more context and say, please, oh yeah, by the way, let's check what it actually did behind the scenes. So there are the execution steps, and here we can actually see, okay, what did it do? First, that is the system prompt. That's very long. That's everything where it started. Then the user message, that's this one. And then it decided, okay, now I need to call the tool Techflow Make Simplified Knowledge Base. So it called our internal knowledge base, and that is the response. So it gave this response with a couple of sources and the main points here. And then ultimately it transformed it into Slack block format and output it here. And then we were able to send it back to Slack. So that was the whole process behind the scenes. And now I'm going to ask it, can you enhance that information with web search, please, and turn it into a 1000 words blog article. All right, so now it's going into the research agent. I forgot to update that one. So it's going to the research agent because I told it, hey, do some more research on it, enhance it, use web search and so on. And then we gave this research agent perplexity access. So it has a perplexity connector, and we can see the AI came up with this system prompt. You're a research expert, and then you should research that one. And then it came up with the results and sent it back to the research agent, and the research agent formatted it, processed it, and then returned the actual output to the main agent. Okay, so now exactly what I mentioned before happened. So the 40 seconds delay got hit, and that is why the scenario is paused for a minute, but it's not lost. It still did it. Then we have this output on Slack. So overcoming common pain points and make a comprehensive guide. And we have all that information. And now I can say, okay, thank you. Okay, I know it doesn't have any feelings, but I'm still appreciated. Please create a Google Doc. Now it will go in, it will have that context, it will have that information available, and it will go and create a Google document with the Google Doc agent. We have that agent here, and it's responsible for creating Google Docs based on HTML. So we'll transform it into an HTML format and then create a Google Doc. I will not go into the specifics of the prompt for now. Here is the actual scenario. It created a new Google document, and then it returned the file ID, document URL, and the document title, and it put it into our Google Drive folder. So here we have it. But let's check the output first. There we go. So the doc titled Overcoming Common Pain Points in Make has been successfully created. I have the URL here. I can just open it, and here is nicely formatted blog article with the content that we just created. So yeah, I think that's very helpful. Of course, you can fine tune it and make sure that the design is appropriate where you need it. Or you can say, okay, I don't know, I don't like the first point. Can you update it and do something else? And then you can also create other tools that update Google Doc files or that delete Google Doc files, that move them, or that even download them as a PDF file and send it to you on Slack. And you can do all these sort of things there. That's with the case why I added this error handler here, because the output for the Google Docs, I don't know why, but it just outputs it as text and doesn't use the Slack format that I asked it to do. So I have to fine tune that as well. But what I simply did is I added an error handler. So of course it tries to use the block data, but that's not block.json format. That's why it's failing. And then as a fallback, I simply say, okay, if it's not block format, then simply send the text response as raw text response. And that's why I have this set up. You can do the same by simply going into the scenario, then saying, okay, I need to add an error handler. Just pick any one, and now you can move an existing module in between the two modules here, the error handler and the original module, and then it will become the error path. And now you can delete the ignore module because we don't want to ignore it. And now it will, whenever this one is failing, we will trigger this one, and this has simply the response as text format and send it. Not nicely formatted, but still we will receive it. That is the backup plan for this one. Okay, now I just want to share very briefly some more examples of what you could do theoretically. For example, you could give it a tool that accesses certain calendars, aggregates the information, transforms it all into one JSON at the end, and then returns that JSON string to the main agent. And that way you could manage your calendar or search like all events. In my case, I have a bunch of different calendars. That's why I had to set it up like this. But of course, it might be simpler on your end. Then you can let it create events, update events, move approve events, whatever. But you could also just go into your calendar. So it might be helpful, it might not be. So you have to find the use cases that are actually helpful for you. Another one is this one that searches the project management tool or the sales tool and searches for opportunities, clients, and leads. So let's say a new email comes in and you want to verify if that email sender is an existing lead or an existing client and do certain actions based on it. For example, set the priority higher, or send a Slack notification, or send a message via WhatsApp or something like that, where you need to be informed about a very important email. You could do it like this and simply look up the current status of whomever is emailing you. Or you can also just say, okay, hey agent, what are my hottest leads right now? Whom should I follow up? And then it could check, okay, when was the last time that the opportunity has been followed up? What are the ones that are marked as hot leads? What are the next steps? And so on and so forth. And it can help you prioritize the follow-ups. Another one is simply searching for existing projects in development based on the status. So you can tell the agent, okay, I have these different statuses, and then make it dynamic. For example, over here we had the scenario inputs, simply project statuses as array. And then in that module for Smart Suite, you have the stage is any off, and then the project statuses. And that way the agent will decide which status to search for. I could say, give me all the projects that have been completed to date, or all the projects that are in progress right now. And it will give me, or it will aggregate them, transform them to JSON, and return them back to my main agent, and then, or the project management agent in that case. And then it can give me all that information. That's also a way how you can, like, for example, find projects that are delayed or that need to be escalated, or give regular project updates to clients. Like you could let the AI agent read out all the different tasks that have been completed in that project already, and then write a short summary of, okay, we have done XYZ already, and this is still open, and provides an update to the client on autopilot using this method here. And now let's get into the very last topic, AI agents versus AI workflows. I will give you an example here, like watching emails, and then there's an AI agent that reads out that email and should label it and do certain things, but it has access to write a draft email response, for example, because for the very important emails, I just wanted to write a draft email for me. It can also search for the emails, which I just showed you before, to see if it's a client or a lead or not in our database at all. And then it can do certain things. So it should do all of that, blah, blah, blah. And we also give it a bunch of context. So the email ID, the sender name, sender email, email subject, and the actual email body, where I cut it up to the third context. So whenever you send an email back and forth, it's just adding these signs over here, and with this small regex pattern, we are just cutting it off after that part. So we're not interested for the whole context, but we want to include the last 3 emails for context for the AI agent. Yeah, so the question is, does this need an AI agent, or is a simple OpenAI module where you have a good prompt, actually the same prompt here, sufficient? Because then you can just have routers and filters afterwards and say, okay, if the response type is immediate reply, or the label is equal to reply needed, then go this way, create a completion, write the draft email, create a draft reply. By the way, this is one of our advanced and premium custom apps that we are offering inside our Make Simplified Premium membership. So you can also find information about that below in the link. You have full access to that one if you're a member, and you also have access to our AI plus automation advanced course that is expanding. We are continuously adding more use cases, more tips and tricks how you can do that. For example, how to set up the knowledge base, the internal knowledge base for yourself. And we also provide unlimited executions for all our custom apps in the premium membership. And even in the free version, like in the basic version, you have access to a lot of custom apps. You can use them unlimitedly and enhance your workflows. We're building all these custom apps ourselves whenever we need them, and there are a lot more. For example, update email labels. You can update the email labels of whatever you need. And it even works with the ID of a mail hook, so you can directly use that. That's a common pain point, by the way, right now, because oftentimes the mail hook does not include the message ID, but we build it in that it actually works. All right, So we're creating the draft reply and then creating a message on Slack to say, okay, hey, this email, that's actually very important. Reply now. That's the urgency. And here's the suggested action that you should take on that one, just for increasing the urgency. Yeah, so the question now is AI agents. In that case, I think it doesn't make sense. You should simply use a good prompt. You have structured output. You use rules to start with, and you define that one use case for now. For example, response type, immediate reply. What do I want to do with that? Then you set that up. And for the rest of the emails, you can update labels for those where you want to match it, or you can simply ignore them for now. And then you build it up upon, one after another. So you expand it and you add more rules basically to it, how you want to handle certain situations. And then only if this becomes a huge system, you might want to include an AI agent. But to start out, I would not recommend using an AI agent. Always use AI workflows where you include AI in your standardized processes, because that's much more reliable and takes away all the fuzziness that AI agents have, because there's hallucination. 5 to 10% could be hallucinated. It might or might not call the tools properly that you want it to call, and it might come up with information and things that you don't want it to do. So it's not always reliable, and it's much more reliable if you use an OpenAI module. All right, I hope by now you have understood how the Make AI agents work on the Make platform. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. This is still in beta phase, so they are making a lot of updates to that one. And you can expect over the coming weeks that there will be a lot of updates actually, and it will be enhanced. I don't know their plans on the back end, and this will be coming insane, right? So it's very cool. I'm super excited about what is still coming. I love the Make platform, as you might have noticed. And of course, there are a lot of other platforms out there, other tools out there that you could use for AI agents. And right now, this might not be the best solution out there, but we are getting there. And the fact that you can simply integrate it within your Make scenarios, within the tools, within the environment that you already enjoy working with, that is very powerful. And yeah, so that's it. Check the link below in the description to join our community for free for a limited time. We offer 100% off right now. And make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more automation tools, automation tutorials, and share this video with anyone who might be interested in the new Make AI agents. Thank you for watching and happy automating.